Hi, Movie Chronicles here. Today I am going to explain an award-winning Indian comedy drama, titled Three Idiots. Spoiler alert, watch out and take care. The movie began with Farhan. He was on the plane traveling when he received a call from Chatter. He wanted to come down from the plane, but the plane had taken off, so he pretended to faint. The plane turned back due to a medical emergency. Immediately he got back to the airport. He stood up and ran away. He entered a cab meant from another passenger, then called his friend Raju. He told Raju that Chatter told him Rancho is at the school and they should come at 8. Raju happily dressed up to meet his old friend. He left without wearing his pants. They both got to their old school to meet Rancho. They met Chatter, who showed them pictures of his successful life. He reminded them he had a bet with Rancho 10 years ago about who would be the most successful. He is not a coward, so he came to the bet location as planned, but Rancho can't come because he isn't successful. He claimed to know Rancho whereabouts and told the guys to check for their friend at Shimla. Raju, Farhan, and Shooter drove to Shimla. On the way, Farhan remembered their past 10 years ago. 10 years ago Raju and Farhan got admitted into the Imperial College of Engineering, ICE, at Delhi. On their resumption night, there was a ritual done to all freshmen. They are to bow to their seniors naked and get the stamp checked. While the others bowed, Rankata's Shyamalda's Chanchad, also named Rancho, entered. The senior told him about the rituals and asked him to remove his pants. He refused to do so and ran into a room. The senior told him he would pee at his door if he doesn't come out at the count of 10. While the senior was counting, Rancho was connecting an electrocuted wire to a spoon. He finished and kept the spoon in front of the door. The senior urinated on the spoon and got electrocuted. The other freshmen laughed. The next day, the director of the school, named Viru Sahasrabuddha, nicknamed Virus by the students, assemblies the freshmen, giving them words of exhortation, asking them to remember they are in a competition and they must outstand others. While he gave his words, Rancho asked a question that threw Virus off his feet. Virus couldn't answer the question and told him he would answer later. Rancho was not like every other student. He created exceptional solutions to situations and he doesn't get worked up, unlike others. In his first lecture, he was asked to define machine. He defined it in a very simple term which the teacher didn't like, so Shooter defined it in a rather complex term which the teacher liked. Rancho contested that their definition was the same and the teacher sent him out of the class. He came back inside to ask for his book, but rather than asking in a simple term, he asked in a complex term which got the teacher confused. Rancho was sent out of the class in most of his lectures, and any time he is sent away, he just enters the next classroom to join the lecture. Rancho loves engineering so much that any time he sees a machine loses it and tries to repair it. Some he succeeds, and some end a disaster. In the school, there was another student like Rancho, Joy Lobo. Lobo tried to develop a helicopter with a camera. Virus thinks it was an unrealistic dream, so he decides not to check on Lobo's project. He called Lobo's parents and told them their son would not be able to graduate. Frustrated, Lobo threw away the helicopter and Rancho picked it up. He took the helicopter to his roommates Farhan and Raju and told them they would build it for Lobo. Raju asked how they can build it knowing that their project is at stake too. Rancho told them they should say, "All is well," and ever since then whenever they are in a dilemma they shout "All is well." They successfully built the helicopter and made it fly. They flew it to Lobo's rook to surprise him, but they found out Lobo had committed suicide due to pressure. After Lobo's funeral, Rancho confronted Virus as to the way he pressured Lobo. He told Virus the school is not even teaching engineering, they would teach what's in the book, so Virus took him to the classroom and asked him to teach his colleagues since he thinks he is a great teacher. He wrote an unknown word on the board and told everyone they have 30 seconds to find the meaning of the word. Nobody got the meaning including Virus. After the time elapsed, he told them the word does not exist and learning should be exciting and inspirational, and not be pressure. Angrily, Virus asked if that's how engineering should be taught. He said no, that Virus is a professor and he should know how to teach. He ran out of the classroom immediately. Virus wrote a letter to Raju and Farhan's parents telling them if they allow their kids to be friends with Rancho, their kids' future will be destroyed. When their parents received the letters, they called the three of them and gave them warning. After meeting with the parents, the three friends were hungry. Rancho saw a wedding party, and they entered the wedding in disguise. They didn't know it was Virus's daughter's wedding. During the wedding, Rancho saw Pia. Her fiancé was insulting her because she wore a fake wristwatch. Rancho told her to break her engagement with her fiancé because he is only using her for profit. Angrily, Pia called her father Virus on them, and Virus caught them and called Raju and Farhan to his office again. He warned them about their family background and told them they can't compare themselves to Rancho because Rancho is from a very rich home. He told them to move from Rancho's room and because roommates with chatter. Raju took the advice considering that his family is very poor and they depend on his future, so Raju became roommates with Shooter. Shooter is nicknamed Silencer in the school because he spends 20 hours reading, and in the bid to enhance his brain, he takes a drug from a local pharmacist. The drug makes him fart silently every time, and instead of accepting responsibility for his pollution, he pretends and accuses others. Shooter crams on his one and to distract the other student. The night to the examination he would put nude magazines on their door. Rancho created a plan to subdue Shooter once and for all. Shooter was to present the introductory speech for a ceremony and went to the librarian to construct an impeccable speech. Farhan distracted Shooter and Rancho distracted the librarian. Rancho edited the speech and changed some important words on it. He gave the edited speech to Shooter to cram. Shooter got to the ceremony and read out the edited speech he crammed. The whole school laughed at him and he got humiliated. It was that day he had a bet with Rancho telling him he would be more successful than him. The script also had an impact on Virus as he had blood pressure from the shock. Virus' daughter, Pia, approached Rancho on the road and asked him why he keeps humiliating her father. Rancho told her he is not humiliating him but he is just living his own life. He convinced her once again to break her engagement with her boyfriend, claiming the guy is only using her for profit. He confirms his claim in the presence of Pia, and Pia broke off her engagement. That night, they got to know Raju's father had an emergency. He begged Pia to take him to Raju's house on his scooter. When they got there, Raju's father was almost dead and they needed an ambulance. He couldn't wait for an ambulance, so he tied himself with Raju's father, got on the scooter and drove him to the hospital. Raju's father survived due to Rancho help and Raju thanked him. They had an examination the next day, but they also had to stay with Raju's father in the hospital. 30 minutes to the examination time, Pia came there and replaced them, telling them to go for their exam and she would stay with the father. They arrived at the examination all an hour late. They started their exam but they finished later than the supposed time. They submitted to the lecturer but the lecturer rejected their answers. Rancho asked if the lecturer knew their index number and name. The lecturer replied negatively, so Rancho took his friend's answer scripts, mixed them up with the other students, and they ran away. The result of the examination came out. Rancho got the first position, Shooter followed him, Farhan was there also and Raju was right above him. All the students took pictures sitting down according to their grade position. Back to the present time, Farhan, Raju and Shooter had gotten to Shimla. They asked for Rancho and they were directed to his house. They met a man who is Rancho, who also had Rancho's certificate and his pictures, but it wasn't Rancho. They asked Shooter how he got Rancho's location. Shooter replied he was looking for a scientist to partner with his company. The scientist's name is Wanghu. His secretary came to find the scientist and snapped a picture with Rancho in the background. They came on the fake Rancho dad's burial, so after the burial, they went back to ask him for the real Rancho. He refused to reply to them and brought out a gun threatening them. They took his father's ashes and promised to flush it down the toilet if he doesn't reply to them. He sat them down and explained that the Rancho they knew was their gardener's son. After his father died he stayed with them. He was very smart, so the fake Rancho gives him his assignment to do and also does his test. One day, they were caught by his father. His father was a very rich man, so he promised to send Rancho to school to get his engineering degree, but the degree would belong to his son. While the fake Rancho traveled to London, Rancho attended school for him, gave him the degree, and cut tiles with them. The two idiots left seeking for Rancho. Back when they were at school, the time for the final exam draws closer. Virus embarrassed Raju and Farhan for their bad performances. That night, they angrily got drunk. The others dared Rancho to go over to Virus's house and confessed his feelings for Pia, Virus's daughter. When they got there and he confessed his feelings, he also met Mona, Pia's sister, who was pregnant with a baby. He said, "All is well," around the baby, and the baby kicked. Raju and Farhan got caught by Virus, and they even urinated in his compound. The next day Virus checked upon them in school. He told Raju to type a letter to his parent telling them he would be expelled from the school. Raju begged him to reconsider, and his father is hospitalized and the shock of the news will kill his father. Virus told him if he doesn't want to get expelled, he should change his name from the letter and write Rancho's name. He refused to do that and dumped it out of the window. He was hospitalized for days, but his friends stayed by him, making him happy and encouraging him till he woke up physically. Farhan got a job interview. About that same time, he also got an acceptance letter from a wildlife photographer. Rancho had helped him send his pictures to the photographer. He was left with the dilemma of what to do. He went to his parents and told them he doesn't want to become an engineer, so he decided to take up the job as a wildlife photographer. Raju also went for a job interview and he passed. Virus was angry the friends exceeded his expectations, so he told his children he would ensure Raju fails his final exam so he doesn't get the job. When Pia heard this, she took the keys to her dad's office and gave them to Rancho, telling him his father's plans. Rancho and Farhan went to Virus's office and stole the questions. Back to the present time, Raju, Farhan, and Shooter wanted to find Rancho at the location the man gave them. Before they left, they felt they should pick Pia to go with them. When they got to Virus' house, Pia was getting wedded. They stole her from her wedding and took her away to find Rancho. The question they stole was given to Raju, but Raju refused to use the question. He said he would pass on his one. Virus realized someone entered his office. He went to their hostel and found the question on the floor, expelled them immediately. When he got back home, Pia told him she gave him the key and reminded him that if he had allowed their brother to be a writer as he wanted, their brother wouldn't die. He told him their brother committed suicide and she showed him his suicide letter. In tears, she busted out of the house. The three idiots packed their loads out of the hostel at rainy night. That same night, Mona was due for delivery. There was no way they could get to the hospital because of the heavy rainfall, and Pia, who was a doctor, wasn't at home. When the friends were passing, they saw Mona in the car groaning in pain. Pia told them they would take the delivery. During the delivery, Mona passed out and she couldn't push out the baby. They needed a suction cup to bring the baby out. Rancho created a suction cup and brought the baby out. Unfortunately, the baby didn't cry. As they all set to give up, Raju told Mona to calm down. He told her, "All is well," and suddenly the baby kicked. They all screamed, "All is well," until the baby started crying. Virus took his grandchild, and jokingly said, "It seems he wants to be a footballer, seeing the way he kick, and he would allow him to be anything he wants to be in life." Rancho packed his loads to leave. Virus stopped him, giving him the response to the question he asked on their first gathering, and also gave him the pen his director gave him. They all graduated from school and Rancho was the best graduating student. Back to the present time, Farhan, Raju, Shooter, and Pia went to find Rancho at his school in Ladakh. When they got there, the whole team was astonished to see a great engineering school on the mountain for local children. They got to know Rancho was updated about their life and career, and they met with Rancho at the lakeside. They all took turns beating him for leaving them alone. He confirmed he still loves Pia, and the two of them kissed. Shooter assumed Rancho was just a school teacher, so he mocked him and asked him to sign a certificate of defeat. Rancho used Virus's pen to sign, but Shooter threw away the pen, telling him the pen was for winners. Shooter left them. The others asked Rancho for his real name and he told them he was Wanghu, the same scientist Shooter had been looking for. He called Shooter with his phone, letting him know he is Wanghu. Shooter begged him to please partner with him. Concluding the movie, Farhan ended his narration by quoting Rancho's words, "Pursue excellence and success would follow pants down." Thank you for watching this recap. Please remember to subscribe to our channel so you can get notified when we post the next recap. See you next time.